Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So Bitcoin showing a little bit of weakness here. As you can see, if we extended this horizontal across, oops, wrong one. Putting some fibs in there. If we extended this horizontal across, you can see that we did break below it, did close below it, and then tried to have a little bounce back above. Currently just above it, but obviously, as you can see, this is obviously price action is a lot lower than all the recent price action, and it is starting to look increasingly like we will be making that test down towards the $42,000 level. Obviously, if we do recover this level now and bounce back up, obviously that would just be a nice higher low relative to this low here. But is that going to happen? We shall have to see. One of the indicators that I believe it potentially isn't is if we look at the Ethereum Satoshi pairing, it has finally broken underneath its important support level, and is now basically operating underneath that. So that is not necessarily indicating that things are looking too good in the crypto market at the moment, but it could just be signaling Bitcoin is going to make a move. But obviously if this is coming down, then that move could be to the downside. If we do look at the Ethereum USD pairing, that is not looking as bad with regards to its important horizontal support level. Not even touched it yet, but you can see we've fallen out of the channel, but falling out of the channel into this support zone will pretty much be the projected target of the breakdown of that channel. So if we bounce there and continued to trade sideways and up, that wouldn't look too bad. So the dollar pairing for Ethereum, not looking too bad. Bitcoin dominance, obviously, as we can see with these moves in the altcoins, in Ethereum particularly, you can see having a bit of a bounce here, a bounce up to our horizontal level here. It is above our support level again. So yeah, do we trade some more sideways upwards here? We potentially could. I think it will pretty much all depend on what Bitcoin decides to do. Stock markets having a little bit more weakness yesterday, operating under what would be the downside trend line of this wedge. So is it getting rejected here to make a move all the way back down to the support zone, or does it get picked up in the usual fashion? This will obviously have a bit of a drag on the cryptocurrency markets if we do get the move down to this support level. And then also, the alarm bells were kind of ringing in the 10-year when we were watching it come back down quite aggressively from that pump up. But also the DXY back up there for a third time of asking around these same highs in this resistance zone. So is this going to be the time we break up? I mean, we can clearly see there is an increased likelihood of the DXY having a decent move up, potentially even into the 94s. So yeah, obviously there is a bit more risk around in markets, as we can see translating through to price action. So yeah, keep an eye on what is going, because yeah, we could end up with a bit of a move here. Bitcoin, if you do look at Bitcoin, it has pretty much been in a tighter sideways range for a bit. Obviously had a big move, relative sideways, big move, relative sideways. So we are kind of waiting for another big move. And will that move be to the upside or to the downside? I would say, if I had to guess, if I was looking at medium and large higher time frame charts, I would potentially say it would have a slightly higher likelihood going to the upside. But obviously, if I do look at these short-term time frames, it is kind of looking a little bit weak. So yeah, read into that what you will. Also, if I was to then look at wider markets as well, that would kind of give me a slight downside bias. But I think a lot does depend on what the DXY does here, because if it does make that move above that resistance level, then I think then it is obviously a lot higher likelihood we get a move down. But then if we do get rejected and come down again for a third time, then yeah, potentially gives us an extra tick in the bulls' favor. So let's have a look at the stochastics. Let's have a look at them. How are they looking? I don't know why we're on the 8-hour here, but yeah, the 4-hour has got pretty deep now. So is obviously pretty bearish on the 4-hour, but obviously got the potential to turn up from a low level at some point, but is still pointing down at present. 10-hour I would assume is pointing down whenever it decides to load, but yeah, 10-hour coming down pretty aggressively as well. So clear downward pressure on price action there. It's definitely the same here for 12-hour. Maybe we've got a bit of a trend line that will come down and meet. So yeah, maybe we do trade more sideways to down whilst we meet this trend line on the 12-hour. Daily not looking as bad though, holding in this bullish zone, so not looking as bad, but still is pointing down. 2-day has now turned back down, but obviously at a very high level. 3-day, well, sort of pointing upwards still, but at a very high level. 5-day still got plenty of juice in the tank, and then weekly obviously looking good as well. Bi-weekly, well, turning back over at its pretty much trend line down here as well. Yes, all in all, the stochastic read does indicate, does overall tell me that we have got a good chance of coming down. But then that move down, as long as we do get supported and picked back up anywhere around either 41, 42 if we want to get aggressive, or potentially we front run this level. It could be very likely we front run this level and maybe even only 42.5, 43,000 we turn back round. But yeah, I would be looking at, we haven't made any real progress towards this $50,000 more important level, or towards the $53,000 level. We haven't made that move, so it does just become more likely we are going to come and back test the properly come and back test the original very important breakout level, which is definitely not the worst thing you want to see in price action. We could just be getting a forward check, a back check, and then a paycheck into the 50,000s at that point. Also, if we do get supported here and turn back up, at the point we take out these recent highs here, you would expect a definite high likelihood chance of acceleration straight through 50 and into the 50 towards 52, 53,000s, if that is how price action is going to transpire. But yeah, that is what we're looking at. Potential signs of weakness here, certainly in the short and medium terms. But we are ideally looking at a higher low somewhere relative to this low here. Obviously, holding this support level is very important. Higher time frame stochastic is looking good, and we have basically broken bullishly out of a long long sideways consolidation. So yeah, we have still got everything to play for here, even if we are going to trade some short and medium term downtrend, because that could be the signal for the big players to then start getting and buying around this $43,000 level, and then we go on a nice leg upwards into the 50,000s. So yeah, there we go, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.